know I'm going to butcher the name. Hildur Guðnadóttir.
Hildur Gudnadottir.
Yes,
She's
yeah,
Icelandic.
I knew I was going to say it wrong. So even though I've never heard the name before, she wrote the music for the Joker movie, which I was quite surprised, and I was quite surprised that I've never heard of her. So this is from the Joker movie, Call Me the Joker. So let's see what it sounds like. That was nice. Does she do any other classical pieces or mostly film music?
I suspect she does compose other things. Most composers do, but that's not necessarily what pays the bills.
Yeah, there's some of them that I doubt, like John Williams and things. I think they're like single-minded.
John Williams actually has a great bassoon concerto that I really like.
Didn't steal it from anyone either.
No,
I don't have a lot of love for John Williams. Let me put it that way.
well, I have a
It's
lot of love
seems
for
like
John Williams.
so, yeah.
As the saying goes, a good artist borrow and a great artist steal.
Okay, very good. And make it better. I have to say, he's at least made some things better. So this is nice. It's very I like how the rhythm changed in between also. Sometimes fast, so it kind of keeps your heart also going as you're going along. I'm sure if you have the visuals of the movie or the intro to the movie going along with it, or whichever part of the movie it is, it will definitely enhance your viewing experience, whilst you are listening to this.
Well, for me, especially since I don't watch scary movies, I have an extremely sensitive, vivid imagination, and I still have nightmares from things I've seen back in 1994. But I noticed something that was actually exciting for me. I don't know the name of the classical piece. It's sort of between yesteryear and modern. Is more modern, I would say, but it goes da 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 da
Carmina
da
Burana.
da da da. Yeah, that one.
Carmina Burana.
So
Yeah.
if you listen very carefully to that last part that we listened to, you can hear it's very slowly. You could tell the inspiration came from it. And I thought that that entry and that sprinkle of it through there was very nice. It almost gave me goosebumps. It was like, oh, that sounds like that other song. What do you call it when someone takes part of a well-known song and just kind of very temporarily intertwined.
Sampling?
Sampling, yeah.
If you
Yeah, when they sample one song inside of another song, and then the main song continues on. It's so nice because it's almost like an acknowledgement to honor the other song.
So about this last piece, I basically feel like it's very inspired by the Icelandic folk sound. I don't know if you noticed that it's a bit of a different sound to other pieces that we've heard. But it was obviously Gudnadottir is Icelandic. It's really interesting to see that she takes inspiration from that as well. But also, if you kind of look at it with a bit of a sideways look, this is also minimalism.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's minimalism-ish.
Yes.
It's the gradual build-up that makes it, but it's a stretch to call it a minimalism piece, but it's inspired by the minimalism movement.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it also builds off of the epic genre, which we will see more of with Zimmer when that comes later.
Okay. I will do it again. I think what would make it different, I will first listen to it again without watching the movie. And then I'll try and find the same part in the movie where this is, just to see, does it change your way that you are viewing the music? I'm sure it will have an impact on you if you have the visuals accompanying the music.
Yeah, I would be interested in seeing where the drum beat comes in, because that's kind of like heavy steps through, and it goes throughout the piece. So I think that would be interesting to see how that fits in with the movie as well.
I'll see if I can find it and stitch it into the video somehow without getting a copyright back.
A fun fact before we begin is that I've actually performed a wind band version of this piece. So
oh wow. So you're familiar with it?
Yeah, I'm familiar. I was really excited about this one.
Okay, let's see. Wow, 185 voices.
Oh my, he's handsome.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I kind of Googled him.
Must have been a lot of work to put all that together, my goodness.
Oh, he's 53, so he's not much older than me.
Wow. Amazing. I'll go a little bit more forward, but wow, it's quite a thing to get all these voices together.
You can also think about the English title of this piece, which is Light and Gold, while you continue listening.
Makes sense, because it sounds very angelic, and all I can think was like heaven and the mountainside.
Amazing, actually.
Really impressive with these virtual orchestras and virtual choirs, because I tried it with just myself, and it's a lot of work.
It's amazing. Imagine to synchronize all of that. Just two people. I tried once to play. I play keyboard. Someone else was trying to play violin. Big mess. But that's just two people. So imagine. Oh my goodness, and it's beautiful. The OG instrument, the voice. You can't beat that. It's just pure. You can't hide from it. You can't. It's just what it is. I love it. It's amazing.
This piece is actually really interesting, and it's very chord based, obviously. So you hear these very big chords that are performed in the choir, but you still have these soloistic voices that stick out occasionally, like in the soprano in the beginning. And it's also kind of hinting towards the chorals, the choir choral music from Bach, for instance. It's hinting in that direction.
It reminded me of that. Yes.
Though obviously it's quite the difference between, like, it's the evolution has come far, you know.
Correct, yeah. No, I thought it was amazing. In the beginning, the soprano gave me goosebumps. It was nice.
Some high sopranos are always good. We love that.
Amazing, yeah. Especially the young boys when they still sing in church before the voice breaks, the notes that they can reach. It's just awesome.
I'm still just kind of basking in it, and the memories of when I used to actually sing. And I was a vocal major for 4 years, and we did pieces exactly like that. And it was no instruments other than the human voice. And you described it so perfectly when you stated it is what it is. You know, you can't hide from it. You can't fake it. It's just all out there. It's raw and it's real, and it's almost like just sharing a bunch of souls and your spirits together, you know. And it also extends the invitation to the listener to accept. Either you have two options: to accept or reject, but you're still in the midst of it, you know. So it just swarms all around you, especially if you're in an environment that has really good acoustics, especially the old Catholic cathedrals and churches.
Yes. So true. I can imagine this in the cathedral. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Another fun fact, you know, I'm coming here with all the fun facts. This piece, the Light and Gold, Lux Aruncu, actually has a companion piece that's called that's called Nox Aruncu, Night and Gold, and it's taking themes from the Light and Gold piece, and has kind of turned it into a darker sound. I would recommend first listening to this one and then the Nox Aruncu afterwards.
Okay. So Light and Gold and then Night and Gold?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I'm writing it down. So I really want to dive deep into this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great pieces. And yeah, when I performed the Lux Aruncu with the wind band, we actually had a choir perform the Nox Aruncu after.
Oh, nice.
So it was a really great, and it was in a big church as well. So we had really good acoustics as well. So it was awesome.
Oh, I think it's goosebumps thinking about it.
They have good acoustics and a great choir. I think they can sing Baba Black Sheep, and I will love it. So the last one is Hans Zimmer. I think it's one of the first videos of Tusset Violin that I saw, actually, was this version that they did on the violin. So let's see what it sounds like.
Oh, Interstellar?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've heard this before.
Yes.
It is nice.
We'll go a little bit forward. Piano is like my level of piano playing. It just seems like one chord, one chord.
Mm.
So it ends again the same way as it started.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's like a journey. You started slow, you went through all of this turmoil, and then you end up in the same mood again where you started. Exactly like that, where it started again. So the middle part is quite interesting. It's quite a combination of instruments. Let me just go back to where it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had, I don't want to play it again, but I mean, I just wanted to show the visual. We have voice, we have electric guitar, we have the drums coming in. I think there's synthesizer definitely in this as well. Very interesting. But Hans Zimmer, I mean, he's great at what he does. And it's definitely, I can hear also the same thing repeating, but he's bringing it for my ADHD in much more different layers. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you keep mentioning the layers. What kind of genre have you learned that these layers come into now?
I think romantic and maybe like classical. These are the layers I'm talking about. So
yeah, this is actually also a minimalism kind of piece. It combines minimalism and the epic genre, which is not really a genre, but you know what I mean when I say the epic genre.
Or style, maybe?
Yeah, the epic style is kind of more, yeah, it's in the cross section between minimalism and the romantical John Williams style, right? You can the horns are very typical of the John Williams film music, and obviously if you're to mention two composers that are the film music, the movie composers, you would mention Hans Zimmer and John Williams. So it makes sense that they borrow from each other or steal from each other. It's not directly stealing here, but it's more like borrowing.
I think it's more like acquiring.
Acquiring the same effects. Yeah, no, obviously John Williams is super famous for stealing from the romantic composers, which is I think it's good that it does that, because obviously it's stuff we are familiar with, and it also introduces the classical genre to a broader audience.
No, you are right, and they especially for the things from Star Wars and things, he kind of modernized it. People are surprised when they learn that there's actually a classical composition behind that, and like you were saying, it introduces
Planet.
Well, I could go on for ages about the Star Wars music, because it's actually so much more clever than you give it credit for if you just listen to it. It's basically with Star Wars is borrowing the idea of having character themes and all that from opera. So it's great, but we can make another video about that some other time.
Yeah, definitely. It's a genre that I've not really experienced. But yes, Hans Zimmer is good at writing the music. I've not seen Inception. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I think it's something to do
No.
with space or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen it,
I haven't
but I
seen
like
it
the
either,
score.
actually.
I love the score. It's just beautiful.
Floating through space, and you can see your space station you used to be attached to floating in the distance, and you just see the stars coming past. So the beginning and the end gives me that floating in space kind of feeling. So I should I try and see where this is used. But that was very interesting. I will definitely need to make a part 2 for the other 5 composers, which I will not tell you the names of yet. So the list that I looked at had 10 composers. So there's 5 of them left. So overall, you think the modern composers are keeping the genre of classical music alive, or you think they are converting it into something completely different?
I would
Oh, that's a good
argue.
question.
I would argue that this group of composers that we've seen now are more in the tonal sphere and in the same path as the romantical composers, while a lot of contemporary composers are exactly that. They are contemporary composers composing in what's the contemporary genre, which is less tonal and more in the direction of sound art, if you get me.
I do.
So there's a split there. There's the tonal composers, and then there's the non-tonal composers. And obviously, for the general audience, the tonal composers are these composers, and for the non-tonal composers, we have other other people who do that, right? So yeah, we have this clear split.
So that's where Arvo Pärt and things will come in, or no?
Arvo Pärt is more in the tonal sphere.
My fear with contemporary composers is, especially if you listen to like Hans Zimmer, where he brought in electric guitar and things, I'm just scared at some point the classical music and pop music is going to merge, and you will not see the lines anymore, and the classical music will become so simplistic that it will be the same as a 1 or 2 chord pop song. You think that will happen, or you think they will avoid that merging?
I think that it depends on which country you're in, because if you're in places like the US, right, where the system is very different from where I am in Norway, obviously in the US it's more commercialized, so you have to perform pieces that are that the audience wants to hear.
Money,
yes. While here in Norway we have obviously state grants and lots of private sponsors as well, but most of it is state grants, and the state grants allows us to perform all the classical pieces and to compose new classical works, though obviously the contemporary genre with the non-tonal music is also taking up a lot of space in that area. So I'm not worried about the art music disappearing as a genre, but I am worried about how it will look in a few years.
I have a new name for it: musical lasagna.
Musical lasagna, yeah, amazing.
I found the name of Arvo Pärt, the one that is my favorite is called Fratres, Fratres.
Yeah.
That, especially the interpretation of Annie Akiko Myers on YouTube. It's a 5 years old. Matter of fact, she has it on her channel, and it says Annie Akiko Myers Arvo Pärt Fratres Encore presentation, and it's absolutely, to me, it's breathtaking. I bawl every single time I listen to it. If I need a good cry, this is one of my go-tos. It is. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. But yes, getting back to the musical lasagna, I think that is sort of a cute way of describing for those of us who are not as educated in theory. I used to know a little bit of theory, and it's been over 30 years. So I've it's sort of like, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I call it musical lasagna with the layers and all of that. And it makes a nice dish to enjoy, you know?
Yes,
attached to it.
especially this music we've been listening to now is very in the minimalist sphere. So it's
Mhm.
the musical lasagna is a very good way of describing it. Yeah.
Yes.
It is easy music to listen to. If you are not familiar with classical music, I guess contemporary composers like the ones we've listened to, this is a nice way to get into it. You don't have to overthink. It's not that complicated. You
Right.
just need to enjoy it. So this is a
Yeah.
nice stepping stone into other things, before you get to the Shostakovich's and Brahms and things in life, start with stuff, the easy, simple stuff.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
usually comes from the film music, and then you kind of discover this kind of music. So obviously, some of the pieces we heard today are film music, but also then you kind of get from the film music into the other music we heard,
Yes.
and then from there
Yes.
you sneak into the romantic genre, and then then you've done it.
Then you come hardcore classical, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that this was awesome. We should do this more often.
Yeah. I want to thank you guys because I've been sick since before New Year's and I'm still sick. And tomorrow I have to
goodness.
know how I'm going to do it, but but it was nice to listen to some nice music and have a nice chat. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh,
And if you
thank
guys haven't watched my opinion classical music, I'm going to put the link in the description, and
Okay.
you have to go there, subscribe, and you have to watch all the videos because it's absolutely amazing to see the feedback.
Thank you both. Have a beautiful day or evening.
Thanks. You too.
Yes, I'll
Thank
see you.
you.